Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to another episode of Channel Your Light, Own Your Intuitive with myself, Erin Chandler. I am so happy that you are here. I have a message for one of the viewers on here. It's actually directly related to soul blueprints, and I have a lot of information that's been coming through channeling for soul blueprints. So we're going to marry these two together because they are intrinsically tied to understanding through this channel. So for some of you on here, I'm supposed to tell you your picker is not wrong. Your picker is not wrong for a multitude of reasons. This feels like it's somebody who's thinking, why did I choose that person? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Is the words that are coming through, or the song lyrics that are coming through. Why did I choose that person? This feels like it's for an empath almost. Yes, let me tell you, an empath with the narcissist dynamic. You're asking, why did I do that? Why am I connecting with these people? Why am I doing those things? Your pickers are not wrong. I want to put this into a different perspective. This message is not for all souls watching this individual video, this particular first message, but it is for specifically some of you. And it might feel like a delicate matter, I want to say. So your picker's not wrong. For some of you, you feel like your partner that you chose, that you've had children with, that your picker is wrong and you do not trust it anymore. There are soul contracts that are in play that are part of your blueprint that you have not taken into consideration. For example, some of you, your children chose their parents. In other words, one of you your children are like, okay, we're picking him as our dad and her as our mom. Now, this is for a divine feminine, actually. Let me be specific because I can go into all the different dynamics for everybody. Please take this and place it into your life if it fits and you know this story, switching up the masculine and the feminine. But I want to zone in and focus on the divine feminine story for this. It is predominantly female viewers that are watching this channel, but I will tell you there are many masculines who experience this dynamic as well. What I'm being shown and told is your children pick their parents. You come in and pick your parents. This means I chose my mom and my dad, their ancestral history on both sides, which may be totally different. In addition, whatever their lessons are working on are going to be perfectly aligned with what I am working on or stepping into. So I chose my parents. Now move forward to another generation, or that's the back generation, the past. Let's move forward to the forward generation. So if you chose your parents and you chose them for specific reasons, then your children chose you and your spouse and your lessons you're working on and their lessons they're working on in order to further evolve the bloodlines, in order to heal the past. So for some of you, you're thinking that your picker is wrong. Meanwhile, when I'm seeing the soul blueprints coming up, and I'm seeing the interconnections of them, and I'm being shown very, very clearly that your child literally said, hey, I'm going to choose you as my mom because I chose this person as my dad. And this is the dynamic that's playing out. And I have to heal both wounds, or I'm predominantly healing the stuff on my dad's side. I'm going to need support. I'm going to need your lessons to counterbalance it and heal through the dynamic of the triad of child, mother, father. So you're thinking your picker was wrong, when in actuality, your child chose you as a soul contract, and you said, sure, I'll get married to them. Sure, I'll have a bit. Sure, I'll birth you and bring you into the world through them. Absolutely, no problem. This is a very detailed soul plan for somebody. The towers that you have experienced are pre-birth contracts. These are things that were intended to happen in your life for your awakening, for their awakening, and for the other aspects of it and awakening and all the people connected to you, whether it's viewed like that or not. Your picker is not wrong. Ava says this. She says, every time we think that we have made a wrong decision or chosen wrong, or we do not understand why we have done the things we have done or chose the path we have chosen, for some of us, it is the free will choice of, oh, I chose this. However, for many of you, up until this point, it has actually been soul contracts. You may view it as being about you. And while it is about you and you are in the experience, you have negated or forgotten or dismissed or not recognized, turned a blind eye to the fact that there are many soul contracts which are connected to yours, which are playing out at the same time. Your picker is not wrong. I ask, we asked children, this is coming down to children. So this is a divine feminine with children. It feels like everything went to the wayside, or you picked wrong, or you married a narcissist, or maybe your children are displaying narcissistic tendencies. Let me tell you, that's for somebody on here. Recognize your child is not just dealing with the energetic lessons, fields, bloodlines, and ancestries of your family, but also of the paternal side as well for this divine feminine. Do not forget this. Have grace, have compassion. There are many things happening. It's not just about you. It's not just about your lessons. There are all the people connected to you who are also doing their lessons at the same time. They're showing me soul blueprints and soul contract. This is very important. Let me tell you, when we look at a soul blueprint, if this is my soul blueprint and I have many different strings and nets that are attached to it, make no mistake, your children and your parents and your grandparents and your coworkers and your peers and your friends and the people you serve and your intimate relationships that you have, your soul blueprints all have beaming lines connecting all of you. All of you. This means whatever you do is perfectly in tandem with all of the other soul blueprints, whether it is a positive experience or a negative experience. When you understand that it's not just about you, you say, I'm the creator of my own world and I'm doing my own thing. And while that very well may be true, you would have to have eliminated all of the contracts that are in the karmic wheel or on the lesson wheel and have zero interference in your energy other than your own soul's manifestations and desires. This is coming through very clearly for a divine feminine, but there's also a divine masculine on here. Wow, okay, so I have a divine masculine energy who has been significantly and severely disempowered through very dark familial experiences, particularly with a distorted mother figure, I want to say, a distorted maternal figure, where it created such a dynamic of codependency. It's ridiculous. And then you're also dealing with the heavy side of abandonment on the paternal side as well. Whoever this message is for, it's very specific. And in addition, Ava said, some of you will be able to pull either the mother figure for yourself or the father figure. Some of you are dealing with both. Some of you have one parent who was soul aligned with you in order to help you overcome the other bloodline. Some of you have both bloodlines you're dealing with. So the codependent, narcissistic, maternal figure, this is a distorted feminine mother energy. And in addition, there is an abandoned father energy. So there, Ava says this is going to be a flow through for many people in different ways. She says it's important for you to take the pieces that resonate and pop them in. We all have distortions on the earth plane. This is part of why we're here through the Great Awakening, is to heal the distortions and transmute them so that they no longer affect the collective consciousness moving forward into the future. There comes a point where when you have cleared and transmuted all the bloodlines associated with you, you move forward into an ascension process. Some of you are doing it at the same time. There is no right and wrong. All paths lead home. I also wish to talk about soul blueprints on the grander scale. There are subsets of souls, which some may view as pods of souls. There is the head of each soul. I talked about this in another channel. Hopefully you guys caught that. I'm not sure if I posted it yet, but you'll know it if it'll resonate for you. Oh, that was in the other one. Oh, you'll say, I haven't watched that, and it's coming up in a future video. So when we talk about soul pods, there's a group of people in a pod, and there's a head of a pod, or a guide, a head guide, a team lead, however you wish to call it. All the team leads of all the subsets, pods of souls, are all interconnected and streaming intel between each other. That's so interesting that I just used the word intel, or information between each other, creating a network. This is the same for all souls on the earth plane for ascension and the Great Awakening at this time. Your soul blueprints, when we have them posted in a room, when someone we love dies, that does not mean they're no longer in your soul blueprint. There, I always see it as, if I see a soul blueprint and I see it as all the blue beams, this is how I intuitively see this. I see it as blue beams, but when a loved one dies and leaves the body, so it's still spirit, they're still spirit, disembodied, their line or their interconnection begins to glow. It is eternal. It is in the ephemeral realms. It is all around you, connecting to you and guiding to you. They do not get removed from your soul plan the rest of your life just because they left the body. That is a misconception that they're no longer with you, they're no longer in your life, they're just a memory, all of those things. No. What happens is it gets illuminated. The reason it gets illuminated is it transcends the earthly physical plane because they have left the body and transitioned into full spirit form. There is great power in these interconnections with our loved ones who have crossed over. There is great knowledge, there is great wisdom, there is great miracles and great light, and it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Utilize these connections because they're there for you. In addition, I'm being told to highlight this. Some people appear to have similar soul blueprint plans. This may be a trigger for somebody. Let's take an addict, for example. Through all of the different readings that I have done through the last 5 years for many different people on many different walks of life, experiencing many different traumas, many different losses and grief, and dealing with it in a myriad of different ways. This is very clear to me. The idea that we should judge another soul's blueprint is insane. There are billions of soul blueprints in play right now. These soul blueprints, this person's soul blueprint and this person's soul blueprint, for example, let's take two intuitives. This intuitive views the earthly way and the spirit way in example X. And this intuitive over here views it in a completely different way. So let's say A, they view it in A over here. These two intuitives are serving two different subsets of souls. This is why they have two different views. Subsets of souls that are going to come to see this intuitive, that are aligned with that teaching, that viewpoint, is because they are on a certain step of the ascension level or intuitive understanding, bloodlines, and background in order to effectively serve that person, in order to help them overcome it. Now we have the other intuitive over here. Let's say they have a completely different viewpoint. They also have a subset of souls that will resonate with this, that will help them on their journey. Now, sometimes subsets of souls go to the incorrect path or the incorrect person, but it is not incorrect. It is often to really highlight for them what is in alignment for them and what is not. That is pushing us into a state of empowerment. It is pushing us further into our truth. Whether you go to somebody that you resonate or you go to somebody where it's like, that did not resonate with me at all, and that just furthered my truth to come back over here, or to go further over here in this dynamic that feels right and feels good to my soul. Just because you're an intuitive doesn't mean you have the same purpose. It doesn't mean you have the same perceptions. It also doesn't mean you're serving the same subsets of souls. Intuitives are learning at the same time, both through each other and through the subsets that we serve and through the divine. That's the triad. That's the magic. That's the purpose. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. Now, that's one example because there's an intuitive on here who feels like their way is the way. And an eagle is represented by that. Very important message for an intuitive. And whoever that intuitive is, I'm being told to tell you, you are exquisite and wonderful, and get ready for your next expansion. That's what I'm hearing, which is amazing. And I love that. I love that. A whole bunch of guides coming through for you. We are all doing different things. One does not mean it's right and the other is wrong. There is simply what's right for us and the subsets of people that we are serving. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of everyday aspects. This is the trigger point, my friends, and it's important. And this is really why your picker is not wrong. Let's take two addicts. Sometimes when people come to see me, there's a lot of people who struggle with addiction. There's a lot of our children are passing because of addictions. Now, some people's children who show up, who have a very, very clear path that they have died from an overdose. Fentanyl is coming in very clearly. Somebody has a son on here who's died from a fentanyl overdose. This is clear to me because of this. This soul blueprint of this person's son, I left mom because part of my role of coming into the body was literally to highlight all the things that are wrong. I'm hearing how many of our children have to die before we all wake up and recognize the real root of the problem. We shouldn't have children dying of fentanyl overdoses left, right, and center all over the world. It's like a culling of human life on this planet through addictions. That's a very specific message for somebody on here, and my heart hurts for you so deeply right now. I am so sorry. Oh, so sorry. More than words. I am so sorry. Deeply, truly, and honestly. They're saying, go back. It's important that this is understood. I did not come here to heal an addiction. I came here to come into the body. I chose to leave in that way because part of my role was to literally help other people wake up. I have not left you. This is for a mom. I have not left you, mom. I am with you every step of the way. I am strengthening on your journey because you came here for a great awakening too. And we are going to wake people up because I left. If I stayed, we would not do our mission. This would not affect change if it did not happen this way. I chose to leave based on the addiction and an overdose to help a lot of people through the spiritual, energetic forms in spirit. I do that through you, Mom. I do that through your voice. I do that through your compassion. And in addition, this was intended to wake you up to your spiritual purpose. This is a message for somebody specifically. I have a T, the initial T coming in for that as well. That's one subset of souls. Here's another subset of souls. There's another subset of souls here who came to do the journey of addiction. And man, is that a hard journey. For me, I have a deep soul knowing that only the most, I don't want to say evolved. Yes, let me tell you, the most evolved souls will do a journey of addiction. And yes, there are souls that maybe are just newly experiencing it. I don't place a judgment on this. I'm only going to roll with what's coming through because this is for somebody specific based on their children's. Somebody has a husband who's died from suicide on here, a spouse who's died from suicide because of an interconnection with drugs or drug addiction. Again, my deepest condolences. I wish to explain this in very clear overview soul blueprints. Each of you signed up, your loved ones left based on this mission, based on you learning lessons, based on you opening and expanding. This person over here, whether it is a son or a spouse, I have both here, to be honest. Take it as it resonates. This person came here to leave based on the addiction. This husband who's showing up, who either has committed suicide or overdosed through it, that has an interconnection with some kind of drugs or some kind of gambling. I don't know what this is. He's here to say hello, even though this isn't the blueprint we're talking about. He says he's going to step in a minute because we're talking about soul blueprints and a greater macro understanding to release the bondages of shame, guilt, blame, fear, and deep, deep sorrow that is no longer required for the next part of your ascension journey. So I'm just going to set him to the side and we're going to go here. He says, your picker's not wrong. It was a soul contract we had. Okay, so that's why he's coming in. This is a specific message for somebody. And I want to weep. I'm seeing somebody weeping at this message, knowing it is for you. I am sending you tremendous oodles and buckets of love right now. So let's go back to the addictions. Thank you, Spirit. Let's go back to the addiction. So now we have this set of people over here who are heavily into addictions. I'm getting a masculine with blonde hair who is living, spirit embodied, a very powerful soul. His journey was to go through that same addiction journey as this person over here that looks the same, but his journey is to overcome and transcend it in this lifetime so that he can help others by shining a light in the epic darkness that addiction is. His soul blueprint, his soul plan is to come here and shine light to help people overcome it. And he had to go through the journey to do it. This blueprint over here, the one who said, no, I actually came to leave based on the addiction, they appear to have the same blueprint. And one might ask, why does one person overcome an addiction and another doesn't? Because this person's soul blueprint is not here to overcome it. He's over here. He's coming in to highlight it for everybody else to save the next generations of our children's so that we don't have children dying of addictions left, right, and center. We have a generation and subsets of souls who are here to do that, to highlight it. Stop blaming yourself. Stop blaming yourself is what I'm hearing. And we also have a subset of souls who are here facing the same journey. They look the same, but these soul blueprints are for two very different reasons. To judge one as if it should be like another is insane. There are billions of soul blueprints at play. We are all interconnected. He's leaving to help this guy's journey as well, his soul blueprint to overcome it and help all the other people. This is how great change happens. This is how the macro shifts. But we don't see the macro. We're here in the micro. This is how the macro shifts based on the micro informing the macro, and the macro informing the micro. I know this is a trigger message for somebody. If this triggers deep emotions, sorrow, shame, please seek out the appropriate guidance. If you have a counselor, please go see them. If you feel like you need, if you feel suicidal, please reach out, whatever country you are in, contact them. This is heavy stuff, my friends. A lot of people look at mediumship and intuitive as like, oh, this woo-woo and this airy-fairy and this beautiful, wonderful, amazing stuff that it is. And it is that. It is so that. It is amazing. And I love it. And I experience it all the time. But it's also giving us a breath, fresh eyes into the deep darkness that many of us have on this journey in order to illuminate it, in order to heal it. Yes, it can be airy-fairy, but good God, it saves lives. Stop and think about this, my friends. It doesn't matter what your judgment is. It doesn't matter. I'm hearing fresh eyes, fresh eyes. So this is important for a number of reasons. These subsets of souls, understanding that even though we appear to have similar journeys, but we're here for different purposes, is very important. It helps us to release judgment and focus back onto our path. We are 7 billion people here. And guess what? Even though this person whose soul blueprint is to elevate, overcome, and shine light to help others overcome it, and this person's soul blueprint is to leave the body due to that choosing that way to die, all the family members around each of them, they each have contracts that support whatever their blueprint is, even if that support looks like abandoning them. Did you know that somebody on here, you have a father who abandoned you? I'm being told very clear, wow, this is a lot, my friends. Your father abandoned you to ensure you did the message of not abandoning yourself because you would step into your full empowerment. That was our soul contract, honey. It was never because you were not worthy. Your picker is not wrong for your husband, who's showing back up again, who's really pushy and really wants to get a message through right now for his wife, widower, I want to say. But this father is saying, I abandoned you not because you deserve to be abandoned. I abandoned you because it was the only way. We signed a contract that I would do this and you would step into your power because of it, because you are so sweet and so gentle and so kind and so loving, because you took everything inside of you, your greatest empowerment from within, so without. If you took everything in from everybody around you, we're now going to take your power, call back your power, and it's going to expand outside of you. It is epically powerful. Whoever's message this is, God love you. I love you. I love all of you. This life journey is not easy. There are so many intricacies. There are so many things we do not see. There are so many things we do not understand. You are loved. You are loved. Release the judgments, understand that some of us created soul contracts with each other to ensure that we were catapulted into our spiritual awakening for this great awakening, moving into a higher, you got a higher power, into a higher power so that you could move through the experience, express it, understand it and integrate it, and then transcend it, because that's what we're here to do. Oftentimes, when we don't realize it, we go into the patterning and the cycling of why me. That's why I'm hearing the question of why. It is no longer a question of why, honey. He says it's a question of, what is this giving me? Where is it taking me to? Because that changes it from disempowerment to, oh snap, I'm moving this way now. And that's the whole purpose. Spirit often shows up. He says, I'm showing up in spirit now, whoever this message is for, to ensure that you understand this is not a question of unworthiness or undeserving. It is a question of, this is your soul blueprint over here and where you're going. And this step was required to get you there. Training ground. Flip the switch, fresh eyes, flip it on. And he says, I love you, honey, more than words. So I didn't realize we were doing a mediumship reading here, but it's important, I guess, because we're talking about soul blueprints. He also wants to, this husband that's coming up, this is very important. This husband has deep shame, struggled with deep shame in his life. He wants to tell you your picker was not wrong. He is deeply and devoted to you in the intuitive and spiritual realms, to helping you and guiding you and healing all of those different things. You have come, whoever this message is for, this female, you have done a tremendous amount of personal work. You have obliterated, I mean obliterated, generational curses. And when I say obliterated, I'm seeing you like this freaking superstar, this superstar who's like taking a sword and flicking it off, nobody's business. Just incredible. But it has been difficult and you have felt alone. I'm hearing lonely, I'm so lonely, feeling very, very lonely because of these experiences. You are not alone. He's very clear. You are so not alone. It is not even funny. You are asking if your picker was wrong. At times you doubt yourself. Do not doubt yourself. You are incredibly powerful and strong because of these experiences. You actually signed his soul contract because he was not going to be able to fulfill different things that he was working out karmically in this lifetime if he did not have somebody there to support him. You agreed to do this because it also would be your greatest empowerment and teach you the greatest lessons. Do you see how our blueprints perfectly marry each other? If one person is struggling with the wounds and the disempowerment of other people's anger, how do you think you're going to heal that? By having another soul over here who loves you epically, who has dealing with their lesson of, I have a lot of anger because people aren't doing what they want to do, because I am afraid, because I'm not okay with other people doing things that might impact me or affect me. Meanwhile, you over here are doing your journey saying, but I just want to be me and I just want to be free, and everybody else's projections of their anger and how you should be and who you should be and what you should be is actually what you're coming into empowerment of. And the anger that they're dealing with is releasing the fear. Whoever that message is for, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. Well, this was a medium reading, which was originally intended to be the soul blueprint, which also came in as somebody's, your picker is not wrong. I'm also being told this is all relative to soul blueprints and understanding the interconnections. Everyone that you engage with on any type of a level, whether it is the mailman, whether it is somebody who is in your life for many years, or somebody who steps in for 1 month time to activate your energy, to expand you further. I'm seeing next level on somebody's license plate, next level, to activate you to the next level. We have contracts with people, we have energy with people that we are designed to come into contact with. Sometimes it's not even in the physical, it's energetically and spiritually. We are aligned with them. If you call, I will answer. If you need help, please ask for help. Your team is waiting to help you. Your loved ones who are crossed over are literally waiting to, I'm seeing, wow, ancient Egyptian. This message, I have cough coming through. There's somebody on here who is a queen, who is a goddess, who is a leader of the people. I'm literally seeing those old, there's 2 long bars and there's energy in the middle, and it's like Taiwan is coming in for some reason right now. This is interesting. I'm seeing the queen being set in the middle with her crown and her scepter or staff, as you would say, divined in golden light and literally being honored, lifted up. And this is in the spiritual realms. I'm seeing people lifting you up, not because they are here to obey you, not because they are here to be obedient to you, but it is a sacred honoring of a recognition of who you are. You are being asked to focus and see who you are on that level, in that plane, in that way, and do not be afraid of your queendom, is what I'm hearing. Queendom is the word I'm hearing. Do not be afraid of your queendom. Own that. You got to own that, my friends. You have to own that, is what I am hearing. I have the eagles flying right now. You have to own that. You picked certain people came in to activate you, and no, they're not going to activate you or do the things that you think is all love and light, because we're on the earth plane. This is not all love and light. It's just not. And the more aware you become and the higher your frequency is and the clearer your energy is and the more you release the interferences, the more you see these interconnections clearly, the more you recognize just how much darkness there is, how many dark spheres of consciousness there is, and how many epically beautiful, wonderful spheres of consciousness there is. They all have a role. And those roles are changing big time. The shift is enormous. have compassion for yourself, your aha moment, recognizing you can be interdependent and not codependent. See all of these different things. Our soul blueprints are all in alignment, whether it is viewed that way or not. Many of you will ask, why did this terrible thing happen? Or why did something happen? Oftentimes it is part of a tower. I'm seeing somebody, you're having a massive tower moment, or you just experienced one, or you're about to. Take it as it resonates. That tower moment is designed to obliterate anything and everything in your path that is not aligned. I'm literally seeing people jump out of the building of the tower card. This is a tarot card. People jumping out of the building of the tower card because they're recognizing that tower, that teaching, whatever that is, was based on faulty, dark root energy. Not a lick of it was true. The divine is obliterating it. Divine intervention is what I am hearing. So you may feel like your life is falling apart, and I'm hearing, oh no, that's not what's happening. Your life is about to come together because that is falling apart. And because you were unable to do that, and that's not a blame, that's not because you're less than, because you did not do it. Sometimes it's a soul contract for it to happen that way, to show miracles to someone, to show them that the divine exists, to show them that they can lean into spirit. Their tower moment is a spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul for them as well. But make no mistake, the tower moments that are happening at this time, it is a complete leveling of that which is not in alignment, that which is in rotten roots. It's not being taken away from you. It's make way, make way. It's making way for the things that are for you, for the things you've been divining, for the things you've been working for the things you want to manifest. Stop. I'm seeing somebody with claw marks trying to hang on to it, but they can be this, but they can be that, but they'll come around. That's the narrative that they're playing for somebody. If you have that narrative, listen, they can be that. They will come around, but that doesn't mean it's at your sacrifice. And that doesn't mean you have to tow them along with you. Continue to move forward. Everybody's going to come around, whether it's this life or the next life. Everybody's going to awaken, whether it's now or in a year or in 10 years. It's inevitable. Think about it. Soul blueprints. My soul blueprint can stream through to somebody on the other side of the world. So can yours. Many of you do, and you don't recognize it. And that's okay. You will become, the interconnections will become more and more apparent. All of you will notice more synchronicities happen. You will think a thought and somebody else will show up with that same thought. You will have an idea and all of a sudden you'll see the idea on TV and you'll be like, what? I just had that idea. We are all interconnected. As we remove the dividers, this interconnection becomes a flow through. Thought forms are not in here, my friend. They're all out here. The divine is streaming them in and pushing them out. Side note, because they're all out here, also remember, interference is your training ground of your life up until this point. Your relationships, your dynamics. You've also had other people's thought forms because they're thinking their thought form out here too, and so are you. Sometimes their thought forms go into your energetic field, and sometimes your thought forms are in their energetic field. That also happens, transference. Sometimes it's intentional. That's a whole other video. I sincerely hope that this message resonated for some of you. Again, if you feel this has triggered something for you, please reach out to your counselors, psychotherapists. If you need to get in touch with somebody, if you are feeling so low, if you feel like you are going to harm yourself, please contact the authorities. Please contact somebody in your area that can help you. There are people who are here to help you. Beautiful souls, thank you for listening to this. This is not at all what I expected. I did not expect all these spirits to show up. But again, I did say, welcome, Divine Universe, to the messages that are needed on this channel. And of course, the divine always shows up. I will leave this with you. If you wish to book a personal reading, you can find the link to do that in the video description box below. And of course, if you wish to have a deep spiritual cleanse of your energetic fields and a stripping away any DNA imprinting, you can also find the link for that in the video description box below. Until next time, beautiful souls.